I am currently recording this in my car. I want to talk about Man of Steel. I'm probably too late to the party. When Man of Steel first came out, the more I thought about it, the more and more frustrated I became with it. And I was still sort of saying, no, I think overall I liked the film. I recently went away and I rewatched it, and I came out this time saying that I didn't like it. These are probably just little nitpicks that I'm pointing out, but for me they detract from the movie in big ways. I think the reason why it's so frustrating is because it had so much potential to be the best superhero movie ever made, but ultimately for me, it just wound up turning into a generic summer blockbuster film, which is a real shame because I love the first act. I love everything on Krypton. I love that we just sort of see the spaceship crash, and then we cut to him, he's a full-grown man, and we see through flashbacks him just growing up, trying to cope and deal with his powers. However, my only problem with that opening act is we currently know more than Superman. And what I mean is, Superman doesn't know who he is. Then we get to the scene where he meets Jor-El for the first time, which is where it falls apart for me, because Jor-El starts telling Superman things we already know, because we literally just saw them happen. And so we get this really long-winded exposition scene, because you're telling me things I already know. So if you wanted to fix that, maybe they could have opened up on the spaceship flying in, we see it for a second, we wonder what it is, oh, that's the spaceship with Superman in it, we see it crash, cut, there he is as a man on the fishing boat. And then when he asks Jor-El the questions, then you flash back to Krypton, because then it's new to us and it's fresh. It makes the pacing better too, because now you're not kicking off with the destruction of a planet, you're opening up with slowly learning new things. But Man of Steel doesn't do that. Man of Steel puts us ahead of Superman. Other than that, I really love the Kryptonian stuff, and I love the majority of the first act. I really love Superman's first flight. But for me, the film falls apart in the middle. And again, it's a pacing issue for me, because everything feels super choppy. And then plus, they keep trying to cram Lois Lane into the story. One of the worst parts for me in the movie, the cheesiest, lamest fucking moment is when Lois Lane finds the trail to figure out that who Superman is. She figures out it's Clark Kent. And she goes to the grave of Jonathan Kent. She briefly looks up as if she hears something, and then she says, I knew if I followed the trail, I would find you. And then she turns around to reveal that Superman's standing there. I hate when films do that. That is cheesy, and it's fucking cheap. And it makes no sense, because that could have been anyone standing behind her. It could have been the fucking janitor. Then you get Zod wanting to take her on the ship, and it makes no fucking sense. He doesn't know anything about her, he doesn't even know what she fucking looks like, and for some reason, they're like, oh, bring her on the ship with me. And the only reason they're saying, bring her on the ship, is so that Kal-El can give her the crystal, for her to slide it into the fucking port, so they can get Jor-El on the spaceship to save everybody. For some reason, Superman goes to the fucking church to ask for advice on what he should do. Really, what Superman should have done is he should have immediately gone to Jor-El in the fucking Fortress of Solitude and asked him, how do I stop this guy? What do I do? And then he even could have smuggled the stone on board. You could have had Superman say, I'll only come with you if I can take one of the humans with me. And then you could have had this kind of cute-ass moment where they say, okay, but we get to pick, and they would have picked Lois Lane, and Lois Lane would have fucked up everyone's day. That would have been a great moment. And that would have made Lois a bit more interesting too. Instead, they opted for some bullshit plot convenience that doesn't make any fucking sense. The big issue I have is the ending. Now here's the thing though, everyone seems to have seen Superman kill Zod and been like, no, that's not Superman. I don't care if Superman kills Zod. They can't produce another Phantom Zone, they can't make another black hole, so the only way to get rid of Zod is for him to die. Where my biggest problem comes from is the fact that all this destruction is happening around them, and all these people are dying, and Superman doesn't seem to care. Like, at no point during the film does Superman acknowledge the destruction that's happened. And now, the argument I hear a lot is that you get all these other films out that people don't hate on that have this kind of destruction. People cite, oh, the Avengers had them destroying New York. But the difference is, in the Marvel Universe, how many times do you see a building fall down? If you're lucky, you will see maybe one building fall down, and usually the good guys have gone out of their way to evacuate the building or the area or the city. That there is the difference between those kind of destruction movies and then Transformer destruction movies. Because in Transformers, the destruction in them is completely and totally inconsequential to everything. They can destroy as many buildings as they want, as long as it ends with them cutting off Megatron or Sentinel Prime or whoever's fucking head. And what that says to me is that human life in these movies doesn't matter. In a Transformers movie, the humans are just here to die, and their cities are just here to be destroyed. And that, for me, is what the ending of Man of Steel turns into. None of the destruction matters. which means all the people that are dying because of that destruction, their lives don't matter. And in a Superman movie, those lives should fucking matter, because he's fucking Superman. And here he is, in a movie where we've seen him save people, and then for some reason, at the end, he stands in a crater while ash rains down around him, and then kisses Lois Lane as if to celebrate a job well fucking done. Superman should be looking around at the destruction in nothing but agony and distraught. And what they missed a chance to do was to have him actively mourn. He should have been hearing the people screaming. He's got super hearing. Can you imagine if after he kissed Lois, he looked up and he just heard all the screaming? If he heard someone's heartbeat actually stopped because they fucking died while he was busy making out with Lois Lane, and just breaks down and starts screaming, I could have done more, I could have done so much more. And then that's when Zod turns up. They didn't do that. And then suddenly, they expect us, the audience, to care when Zod tries to kill a family of 4. You can't actively treat humans like cattle that are just there to be slaughtered, and then expect us to care when you suddenly name 4 cows out of nowhere. And the movie further illustrates the point that killing Zod is more important than saving those people's lives when Superman goes to his knees and screams after snapping his neck. Again, that to me just says humans in these movies don't matter. And that's not what I want in my superhero movies. I want superheroes who actively mourn their failures. I want my superheroes to turn around, look at the death and destruction that's happened, and acknowledge it. I don't want them to just simply kill the bad guy and then walk away from death and destruction like it's a job well done. Because superheroes need to fucking care. That's what makes them superheroes. And I didn't get that in Man of Steel. In Man of Steel, I got a generic action movie that quickly devolved into Transformers. And I know in Batman vs. Superman, they'll probably address the fact that he caused all this destruction, but they have to do something with it other than just bringing it up as a plot point. I hope it's going to be good. I have very low expectations, but I'm still going to see the shit out of it, and I still am, in a way, kind of excited. Because why wouldn't I be? I love these characters. I love everything about them. I love the DC universe. And I'm worried that that's all I'm going to get. Destruction with no consequences. But that's just my opinion.
Thank you for watching the show. If you enjoyed, please let me know. You can like and share, subscribe if you dare, and please leave a comment below.